Alright. Okay. Well, first of all, I'd like to start by saying thank you so much to everybody who showed up. Whoa, really slow there. First of all, I would like to say thank you to everybody who showed up. I was not expecting this. This is my first year being an Anime Detour panel, my second year here at the con. I hope you guys are all having a great con. I'm hoping this presentation will be up your alley. If not, I am so sorry. You can send a complaint to that email, and I should have bought everybody tomatoes because I was at Target earlier today, and that would have been smart. I should have given them out. That would have been kind of fun. Hi! Or I guess, hey, my name is Sentinel Seiyu, aka Aaron, aka a million other names. I go by Issa King in our Discord server for the university. I'm also the king of Isekai and an Uma Musume fan. That's, pretty standard stuff. Here's all my social media accounts, and here's an email address you can email me at if you have any questions after the con. But we're going to dive right in because I talk a lot, and I'm going to try to keep this concise, but I don't want to go over time because I got another panel there afterwards. All right, well, welcome back to Everybody Can VA, Internet VA for Beginners for Anime Detour. Woo! That's definitely the first time I've done that. Thank you guys. You guys are so supportive. Wow, awesome. Minnesotans, aren't we great?
Some of us.
Some of us. Okay, I'm sorry. This is a bit of a self-insert. It's like, come on in. We did start. You're good. Come on in. Oh, one of you should not be late. Okay, so this is a dear friend of mine. His name is Michael. He goes by YKY10 on Twitch. You can follow him over there, and I actually highly encourage you to do because he makes some pretty awesome content. Sir, would you like to tell us why you were late to my panel?
The door's closed.
Sorry, I was here on time.
All right.
Sorry, I had to give you. We've been great friends since high school, and he's been on this journey with me. Insanity in my life. Okay, sorry. Back to the presentation at hand. Oh no, my presenter rules are not here. Here. Oh boy.
You can improv it.
Yeah, that's right. I could, but the thing is there's a lot of important information there, and you guys need to know that. I thought I had this sorted out, but I guess not.
Carry too.
Yeah, that's a pretty typical thing.
Your plot armor should be better.
Yep, my plot armor should be better. Oh
boy, you betcha. Especially with that Minnesota passive aggressiveness.
Oh boy, oh man, this is not going to go so well for me. Oh jeez. Where are my presenters? Okay, well, I'm not going to troubleshoot this any more than I have to. I used to be in IT, wouldn't you believe? You can imagine why I'm not again. Yeah, exactly. Turn it off and on again. Oh boy. Okay,
Plug it back in.
Yeah, okay. Thank God I have my phone here. iPhone, great phone, best phone ever invented. Alright, see, we still have the episode after. Alright, so we're going to get going. So you've probably been here before. You're sitting down to watch your favorite anime series, or you're diving back into that favorite game of yours, and then you hear it. That distinct primal roar that sounds like inhuman. That sounds inhuman. Wow, I can't read. Coming from that dual-wielding swordsman. Whoa, the presentation just crashed on my phone. Okay, stuff up, can ya? Oh boy.
Where's the plumber?
Yes, exactly. Oh, and it looks like my phone's telling me the presentation is missing a lot. Okay, we'll fix that later. Alright, so yes, and then you hear the distinct sound of the primal roar, and I said this already, from that dual-wielding swordsman, or the emotional weight that hits you like truck cooing. As you see your favorite blonde main character's dad get killed off on Father's Day, no less. I gave you a hint to that one. Anybody fan of Mushoku Tensei in the audience?
What?
Okay, that's pretty fair. We're not going to get into what I do in my spare time. And after you finally convince yourself that you didn't cry, that you really did cry, you might have thought, man, voice acting sounds so much fun. I want to do that, but I don't know where to get started. So, just curious, how many times have you guys been here? It's going to work a lot better. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, great to see. Well, you're not alone, because that's what I faced when I was getting started for the first time. So, yeah. All right, I overviewed myself pretty broadly earlier, but we'll just go through this really quickly. You don't really care about me, you just care about the information I can give you, which is fair. My name is Aaron Backman. I also go by the online username Sentinel Seiyu. The Seiyu is the Japanese English translation for voice actor. I don't know where the Sentinel part came from. I'm a big fantasy nerd. Maybe that's it. We didn't have Pumat Soul on the last slide. I'm a radio personality. I host a radio show for actually Minnesota State University Mankato called The Pod Now, which is centered around J-pop. So yeah, go listen to that. It's pretty fun if you want to hear my updates. Not this band. Current internet VA, I've worked for a lot of different projects with Something Random Voices, where I play June and Kamikaze. Heard from June a little bit earlier, but I'll do it again. My name's June. What's up? How's it going? And then I also play Kamikaze. It won't be that easy, sexy. The BOB is a solo term, so it's way different. What worked to you up till now doesn't mean it'll work again. If I were you, I would chop my wits up to my status type. I don't remember my lines there. I've worked on Hooked Up, says Arataki Ito. We're not going to do that one. I will blow up this microphone. And then I've been in a local radio drama as well called The Dark Flamingo, where I play a crazy person, which wasn't acting at all. It was just me in front of a microphone talking. All right, so we're going to get started. So you want to get started with voice acting. What's the first step to get going? Well, the one thing I always like stressing a lot when people are voice acting for the first time is this little bit of a phrase that I have here, which is voice in lowercase letters and acting in uppercase letters. Believe it or not, voice acting requires you to be able to have some type of acting ability. I know you're probably wondering, like, this is bizarre. Look at him. He doesn't know how to use a computer correctly, as evident by this panel, which was not planned. But yes, a lot of people, there's a very good reason for this. The lowercase voice in voice acting means that voice is important. Voice is obviously something you need to have. You need to at least have a voice to voice act. But acting is a much more significant portion of voice acting, and it's important that you take some steps to be able to help set yourself up for success in acting. Whether that's doing community theater, whether that's getting involved in a radio drama group, whether that's trying 5 projects online to get started. Which leads very well into my next slide. I'm getting ahead of myself. So where can I learn how to act? Well, that's a good question. There's a few different places you can learn how to act. The first place is taking paid classes. This is kind of the traditional route that you hear from a lot of those voice actors out there, like Bryce Pappenbrook, Shirley Lay. I'm listing off only SAO voice actors in English. Let's see, Max Middleman, those types of VAs. There it goes. I think that's different. So theater, improv classes, general acting, whether you're taking those in person or online, you can do that option. But how many of you are just as broke as me after this anime convention? Hey, right there with you. So that is maybe the most.
I'm being broke.
Yes, exactly. That is fair. We aren't we all. So yes, paid classes are obviously always the traditional method that everybody uses, but not everybody can afford paid classes, because boy oh boy are they expensive. So what are some of the other options that are out there? Well, you can get involved in community theater. There's a really awesome community theater group in Mankato, where I am currently from. I actually work very closely with them, and we've had a really awesome relationship. It's wonderful onstage productions. You can look for current campus productions. How many of you students are university students like me? Okay, got a few. Yep. So, and I know some of those students are, that's going to be a bit of a whacked out number because I got people from my university here. So, put your hands down. I know you're really not in college. You have to deal with that on a day-to-day basis. But yes, current campus productions are, of course, a really great way to get involved because a lot of them are open to people and they are free. Radio dramas are also really a great option as well, or other similar groups. This is an example of actually our recording session for The Dark Flamingo. Guess which one's me? It's not really obvious because it's really tiny, but I'm the one standing in the corner messing with this iPad there because I was the only one that had an iPad because I'm special or something. And I'm in a My Hero Academia t-shirt. That's a really easy pick. I'm from Southern Minnesota. You don't see that too often. Sorry, Southern Minnesota, by the way. I love you guys, but you don't really see that too often. You can also do it yourself, and that's where I really got a lot of my skills from. Joining online communities, we had a wonderful, you want to give us your name? I'm sorry, I'm going to put you on the spot there. Tim. So Tim was mentioning they have a Discord for voice acting.
Yeah.
I also...
Yeah, because I started late, and this is another thing. You're not too young, you're not too old. I was 39 when I started, because I wanted to do it. Because I heard, I love learning who the voice actors were behind the voices, because that's part of the fun. And then Kira Buckland, who did 2B, Kyoto from River City Girls, God knows how much other stuff. She does a voice acting club. And it turns into a voice acting club Discord. That's kind of where a lot of the information is centralized. And I've been doing that for about a year. but you know, it could be D&D, working retail, you name it. Just as long as you use your voice, it's a big help.
Awesome. I should have asked you when I was prepping this. Huh. Yes, you're number 2, young to start. That's a wonderful example. I know I seem very young. I'm only in my early 20s, but it's never too late to start. Oh my goodness, we have so many people. Okay,
Take off your glasses, they're all blurred.
Oh boy, yeah, exactly. Because I can't see otherwise. Right. So what does VA look like on the internet? A bridge series. I had to put that in there. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure everybody in the audience would tell me that, hey, SAO abridged is in fact a thing. Yes, I'm aware. Sword Art Online abridged is a good example. Dragon Ball Z abridged is a good example. Oh yes, the Has Been Hotel example from a website we'll talk about later. I'm sorry, it's a really tiny my computer screener. Also, Debauchery Magic is also a project I recently reached out to earlier this week, thanks to my friend Matt, who has been sending me TikTok videos and has gotten me down the rabbit hole. I never was on TikTok before, just a couple weeks ago, and now I'm hooked. But yes, there's a lot of great things that are out there. Okay, I'm going to go back through here. So, Bridge series, fan audiobook projects, comic dubs, you know, indie games and game jams. Look to social media as a really great place to get started, to see what projects are out there. Join things like r/voice acting is a great way to start seeing what projects are available. r/voice acting might be a little bit more of the paid side of things, and might be a little bit outside of your range, but hey, it's worth a shot to see what other projects are out there, and getting your name out there and getting into as many channels as possible to find where projects are being created is the best place to get started. All right, so again, you're probably asking yourself, why get started with Internet VA in particular? There's a lot of different avenues for acting. You can do on stage, you can do on camera, you can do a lot of work in other areas like narration. How do you get started? Why would you start with Internet VA? Well, you can quickly get started from pretty much anywhere. Do you have a closet? Do you have a laptop of some kind? And do you have any microphone to some extent? Great. You can pretty much get started today, even after the con. I even have to do stuff for my hotel room on an iPhone microphone. I don't recommend that, but yeah, you can do that. You can get started that way. It's low pressure, it's low commitment to some extent. You are going to have to commit to working on some projects and meeting deadlines, but if you want to get a feel for things, you can only take a couple projects at a time and see if it works. Testing the waters of sorts, which my next point is kind of there. It's also just a great place to start your VA career because people start knowing you from these smaller projects and can recommend you to larger ones. Or in the cases with a lot of internet series that we're seeing today, like Has Been Hotel and A Vox Machina, a lot of this stuff really starts from a lot of internet content creation, way more than it did even 20, 30 years ago. But how, you might ask? That's a good question. That's probably, we're like, oh, finally, we're getting to that point in the presentation where he shuts up and tells us how to do this. Yes, we are. Well, that's a good question. It first starts with a booth. You need a space to record that's fairly quiet. If you're like me, you have parents that talk very loudly. Go figure. I'm not dad. But you do need a small space to record that is quiet. So here's what you might already have. You might have a closet. You might have a small room. Great. That's an awesome start. Let's start with that. What you can do is you can get sound dampening materials, aka moving blankets, fairly cheaply, and start basically creating some wonderful, soundproofed area, soundproofed room, or sound dampened is the correct term. I have not had enough coffee today. It needs to be a fairly small room because smaller rooms create less space for sound to bounce around all over, which you might know from basic sound design classes if you've ever taken any of them. So smaller is better. If you don't have a closet or small room, don't worry. You can build your own booth out of PVC pipes. I encourage people to build your own. Now I know it's scary. I don't trust myself with anything sharp either. I'm a Kirito cosplayer. However, one thing is that building your own will save you a significant amount of money. I went and actually had to do this summer because I've been working on a contract project for Minnesota State Colleges and Universities doing a bunch of narration for accessibility. I needed to have a booth that I didn't have in my parents' home. So I went out, bought a bunch of the materials, built it myself, and it's been an amazing booth to work in since then. And people have no idea that I'm recording in a PVC pipe booth I built for like $100 at most. And that was on the high end because I went to the most expensive place you can, buy them. So That's great. Home Depot, for those who are wondering. At least to the Home Depot near me. Oops. Sorry, Home Depot. One thing I do suggest, but is kind of one thing that is relevant, is the Snap Studio booths. You might have seen these on Amazon, or you might have seen these pitched to you. I've seen like a few Instagram ads in my experience, but it is one of those situations where they are $600. If you can build it for $100, including all the moving blankets and everything, or more, it's probably more like $150 with moving blankets. That's a much better option than paying $600 to do the exact same thing. So again, really great option for getting started with your booth. This is my sad booth that I work in a lot of hours of the day. There's not much light because I got to figure out what I did with the lighting. It's terrible. And yes, it does look really sad, but it is a closet, so it's a start. We'll talk about the tech that's in there though, because that's what the next stuff is coming up here. So, you got your booth built? Yes, go right ahead.
I built my booth a couple months back, and it stood up pretty well. You ever have any issues with yours in terms of like, oh, it's not staying stable, or I have to replace something, or anything like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So my booth has been pretty stable, but the problem is when I oftentimes deconstruct it and try to reconstruct it, sometimes if I don't get the dampening material set up exactly correctly, it can cause some weird reverberation in the room. I would highly say, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. If you're using foam panels, those will sometimes on in here. I don't know if that's something you're doing, but that requires a lot more maintenance. That's why for a lot of beginner VAs, very beginner VAs, I encourage them to do like things and starting to work your way up slowly to a more professional setting. Again, a lot of that is cost-based. Yeah.
What about the absolute zero budget of just under a blanket?
Yep, that's a great option too. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but don't have a budget to build stuff and you got a blanket nearby and you can tie it to stuff, do that. It's going to provide just enough sound dampening material. The only reason why I suggest doing it through a closet or some other spaces, you can get a little bit more ventilation and airflow so you're not dying under that. Because when you're doing the large efforts, if you're like me, and you get really intense, you come out and you look like you just ran 75 miles. Now, I don't exercise to save my life. In fact, my Apple Watch is freaking out today because it's like, whoa, you're exercising way more than normal. Are you okay, or do we need to send an ambulance to you immediately? So, I totally get that. That's a very valid point. Yes, you can. I'm not going to say you can't. That's a great option if you have zero budget. Because some people probably have zero budget here. I do. I have that feeling. So, yeah. We're friends. All right, sorry. So I will say I was going to have people try and ask questions during it. We're getting kind of trying to watch time a little bit more. So I'm going to have you try to save all the questions for the end. If you don't mind, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be fickler, but then we all have time and place to answer all the questions at the end. Just so I'm kind of staying on pace here because I go off and meander a little bit. All right. So mics and stuff is where we are next. Talking about what you actually put in that booth of yours now that you got the thing built. Wow, a good quality mic is obviously a good start. I say that users, a good to get started microphone is any of the FI5 microphones that are out there that are USB. Now, you'll hear from other voice actors, and I'm sure there's probably going to be a few people that disagree with me in the room, but again, we are talking very, very, very beginner voiceover artists. Get a USB microphone. It's cheap, it's nearby, it works good enough. I mean, it doesn't have to be expert quality. We'll talk about when you can upgrade or when you might want to upgrade later. And I do encourage VAs, if this is something you really want to keep going with, even if it is you're doing a lot more fan projects, to take a look at something in the XLR land, which leads me into, and blue microphones are an option. They're very expensive in comparison to what you get by quality-wise, but hey, guess who fell into that hole? And blue microphones are, something you should buy for voice acting. This guy. So again, maybe don't take advice from me for this panel, and I just threw out my entire panel, but again, it's one of those things where you can get your start. Hey, thanks so much for stopping by, you guys. See, I can bore people to death. See, we're getting people leaving, it's good. Sorry, I'm just kidding. So, so again, you should level up your quality when it makes sense for you. So again, XLR setups like what's in front of me here provide a lot higher quality audio. Again, really beginner voice actors can get started with USB microphones or what they have around, but if you want to take this seriously, consider XLR. That's where you probably should be spending a good majority of your budget, not so much on, balancing, soundproofing, everything, but getting a really good mic and a really good audio interface. So again, my suggestions are Rode NT1. That's what I use at home. That's what you hear in all the videos I have on social media. For the most part, I have an SM7B I sometimes swap in. Really great microphone, perfect. It's quite expensive though. So again, that's kind of that limitation there. Also, I use a bunch of Scarlett Focusrite gear. I highly suggest it because it's a pretty easy to use interface. It does require some technical expertise, but hey, if I can figure out how to use it, I believe in you, and so can you. So it's not too difficult, but it provides stellar audio quality, and I've had no issues. And I even dropped one of my Scarletts down 2 flights of stairs, and it still works. I'm a bed accident prone, so that's great. But another good thing, pair with a good pair of headphones. These are some Sony MDH8200s. I don't think I got those numbers right, but I think the letters right. These are monitor-based headphones designed for being able to hear yourself. You need to be able to hear yourself, see what you're talking about, what you sound like. How does all that work? And that comes through really good on the type of, really nice over-the-ear if you're upgrading. If you're not, you can use any traditional set of headphones, but they might not provide the audio quality you need to be able to confirm that what you're sending in to record is sounding good. Things to avoid though really quickly, avoid laptops. Microphones on laptops always sound terrible. If you've ever heard like the Zoom conference call, like that one person who has the microphone that sounds like a cheese grater, you know. Phones too, really terrible mics on phones. They're getting better, but any type of phone I've used has had at best, it's passable if I need to quickly put something in, but nothing that sounds super good. And again, remember to use really good headphones or headsets, a good pair of headphones, monitors as they call them, go a very long way. We can talk at the end too about options for here. Okay, I hear some yawning, not making fun of you folks, but I'm trying to make this more interesting. We practiced this a little bit of a different way than how I'm doing it, Matt knows. So we're gonna try to make this a little bit more fun because my voice is very monotone today. Alright, so some tech tools to get you going. Any modern computer is fine. I am a bit partial to a certain fruit-based company. But, yes, I make poor decisions in my life. Hence why I use Mac. Any computer works. So any modern computer is fine. Ideally, you'll want to try and get a laptop that doesn't have a fan if you plan to put it in your booth. Because, how many of you have gaming PCs, laptops? How many of you know how loud gaming PC laptops go? Yeah, it's like when you turn it on, it's like, and your laptop is taking off. It's going to the next level.
It sounds like a Becky Blackhawk.
Yeah. So exactly. Yes.
So I can't have a PS4 in the sound booth.
I would not recommend it unless you want your PS4 to join your session, which they might like. You know, you can do some good background Foley. Yeah, if you need some wind background Foley, you can just do your own Foley with your PS4. Hey. What I will say is try to avoid that. You will drive your casting director nuts. They will hate you. Because everything, and they will not cast you because it does not sound good, obviously. So any modern laptop with Mac OS or Windows is fine. The example I give you here, which is a Surface laptop of some kind, I don't know, it's an image on Google and it seemed to fit, doesn't have a fan in it. But if you do have a laptop with a fan and you don't want to buy a whole new computer, you just voice act, don't do that by the way. Just put it outside your booth. Start the recording, hop in, you can do that, you can run chords. It's a very easy way, we can talk about it afterwards. And there you go. You now no longer have that noisy fan near you. It's outside and away from your recording and away from your mics. All right. Audio tools. We're going to move on to audio tools. What audio tools are helpful to you? Well, Audacity is free. I put an asterisk next to this because there's a lot of people in the audience. I don't know if they're going to fight me on this one, but Joe CJ came out recently and said, I don't like Audacity because it takes a million steps to figure out how to do things. If you're just starting out, it's free. So you don't have to pay for it. It works really well. In my opinion, yes, it's a bit janky, but that's what you get with free software. That's the compromise, unfortunately. But it is a good place to get started, and it works great. It's open source, so it works pretty much on everything, from Linux to Mac OS to Windows, whatever you have. It generally works, except for Chromebooks, which if you're using a Chromebook for voice acting, I'm sorry. There's not a lot I can help you with there. I'm not saying Chromebooks are bad, but I guess. Nah, that's my IT side. We're not going to do that. Adobe Audition is paid software. I hate this company with my guts. Yeah, I'm going to say it on the stream. I hate this company with my guts. Because not only is their software insultingly expensive every single year, but they also shove generative AI down your throat like to no end. And if you like generative AI, hey, more power to you. I'm not going to fight you on that. But what I will say is I'm not a huge fan. And good lord, this company's a mess. They also tried to discontinue Adobe Animate, a software that people have been relying on for years. Sorry, rant over. But I am unfortunately really skilled in using Adobe Audition because that is what I learned on. It is paid software, and it is not a bad option for getting started, but again, do I recommend it? I mean, it depends on if you want to spend $600 a year on a software subscription. Great, as if we didn't have many of those. There's also other alternatives that are also paid. Persona Studio One is also another great option that Josie recommends. I have not touched the software, but it looks pretty great, and it works. It's a little bit easier than Pro Tools, in my opinion, and it's closer to Adobe Audition in being able to use it, but it's got a lot of powerful features that Pro Tools has. Pro Tools is what the studios use. There's a free version. It's called Pro Tools Intro. It's a really great place to get started. I use Pro Tools Intro for a lot of my projects now because, again, they are starting to get a lot more advanced and they need certain things done that only work in Pro Tools. Now, this is talking about the editing tools that you use if you are doing a lot of independent projects. Another tool you might come up and see, this is going to be a little bit more advanced, is a piece of software called Source Connect. If you're doing remote recording, Source Connect is the Discord of the voiceover world, and it is something that allows you to quickly connect to the studio over the internet and be able to provide a very low latency, which is very important for in real-time recording, audio. So that is something you might run into. That's a little bit more advanced than this panel, so if you want to talk to me about that, we absolutely can. I use Pro Tools a lot, or I use Source Connect a lot, my goodness. All right, going off track here. But where do I find this wonderful stuff that you're talking about? Well, that's a great question. You can find gigs in a lot of different places. The first place I suggest everybody look at and save to their phone is Casting Call Club. Okay, this is probably the part of the panel that you really care about. Casting Call Club is a really great place. They post a lot of independent projects there, and I encourage every single one of you who are really interested in voice acting to set up an account after this panel, because that's where you'll start booking things and finding things. I found my June and Yamakaze stuff there. I found my work for Anime Detour. I've been connected to a ton of different VAs in the community who have asked me to come and work on their projects because they've heard my demos and they've heard something that they really enjoy, and they've invited me to projects. That is a wonderful place, and it's totally free. Yes, you gotta deal with the ads. It's kind of everywhere on the internet, but if you deal with them, it's a really great resource. Radio dramas are a really great place to get started. Now, this is a little bit more of a limited one that I'm used to. I'm actually probably going to tell you to go check out r/voice acting if you're doing it remotely. But if you are in an area with an independent public radio station, ask. If you're on a college campus, you probably already are at least in touch with people who are maybe making great content. Or, if there isn't anything like that, start one. I know I have a few college kids here. That's the reason why I say that. Social media, like I mentioned earlier, debauchery, magic debauchery, I'm sorry, I should go back to that slide, is a wonderful place that I found out great opportunities. TikTok's a really great place, unfortunately, to find a lot of this stuff because there's a lot of people who are using those social platforms. So look to your social media accounts. It's already there. Start following things, start getting involved in voice acting related stuff, and the algorithm will, of course, follow suit. Okay, college students, we did a whole section on this. College campuses, talk to your game development departments. I've been in a lot of indie games with Minnesota State University Mankato, because guess what college students who are in game development struggle with? Having a lot of money and being voice actors. Well, I don't charge for voice acting when it's a lot of students' work, and they get an awesome voice acting, they get an awesome project out of it, and I get the benefit to be credited for that project. So look to your game development department, put some posters up. I did that. They still survive. They're still in the basement of our Performing Arts Center, and I walk by them and it scares me. Film departments are also a really great example too. Talk to your film departments. They need a lot of voice actors because they're really good at editing and producing, but they need actors sometimes. Believe it or not. Historical societies. Talk to your local historical societies. Talk to preservation. This is kind of a weird one, but I am a voice actor for a historical society department at our State University of Minnesota. They needed a new voice actor. The late Monica Antonelli used to be our library circulation person. She's the voice of Per and Shiatsu, and used to work in our department. I got to meet her before she retired from Minnesota State University Mankato. And I got a really sweet gig with the university that way. They said, "You need a new voice actor." Guess who she knew that was looking to get started in voice acting? So a lot of it too is getting out there and talking to people, connect. I know that can be really scary because voice acting is one of those industries where you do kind of get to be able to step back a little bit and not have to be in the spotlight, but still get to do some really awesome acting. But sometimes you do need to get out there and connect and start talking to people. Again, also encourage reaching out and seeing what projects are happening. There's a lot of paid options too. We're not going to touch on those too much because we are kind of a little bit slow for time because we have to deal with some tech support today, some tech problems. But we have Voices 1, 2, 3, and Fiverr, which are great places to get started. If you want to know more, talk to me over the panel. Okay, so you found a gig. What do you do now? Well, first of all, thank you, congratulations, that's really exciting. Second of all, here's how you can make a great audition for your very first time auditioning, because a lot of folks are probably not going to know how to do that. So first, check if you need a slate. Sometimes you don't, and you're probably wondering, well, what the heck is a slate? You kind of missed that. Yeah, okay. I did that on purpose. A slate is the 2 to 3 seconds you'll hear at a lot of voiceover demo reels, or you'll hear sometimes in auditions, which is basically, in my case, sounds very similar to this. Hi, my name is Aaron Badwood, Sentinel Seiyu. That's probably usually not my name. It's probably more like this. Actually, it is like this. My name is Sentinel Seiyu. I am reading for the role of Namikaze, and then I begin my audition. Sometimes you don't even need that. There's been a lot of projects where I just don't even include that because it gets long and casting directors don't really want it. They know what you're doing. They don't really care. They need to look through about 150 auditions. And if yours is 5 to 10 seconds longer, everybody has a short attention span. Well, I'm the TikTok generation. I get it. It's going to be kind of a pain. I mean, look, all of you in this panel are probably like, oh God, we're going to stop talking finally. Yeah. So again, short attention spans are a very common problem. Avoid long slates. Avoid something like, too terribly long. Keep your audition clear and short. If you mess up, make sure to go back and correct that. Don't just leave it in there. That would make no sense. And if it's a really long audition, make sure to try to cut that down. Here's another one that I suggest, the AAABBBCCC format. Now, what the heck is this? This is a bunch of letters you put in a presentation. I didn't know we were playing with alphabet soup in this presentation. Well, there is a point to this. So the AAABBBCCC format is essentially basically providing 3 different variations for each one of your lines. Now, this format is one I use particularly with Cast and Call Club because usually Cast and Call Club, a lot of VAs give you 3 different types of lines across their, or a lot of casting directors give you 3 different types of lines across their projects for you to test. So you can test voice variation, how you sound. So I provide them with 3 different types of examples, 3 different variations on how you do the voice, and roll forward with however many lines there are. Sometimes there's only 2. So sometimes your AAACCCBBB format comes out to be an AAABBB format. Sorry, that's really confusing. So, but that essential type of format. That is kind of the name they use for it. I just say the 3 variation system. It's a little bit easier to say. One thing I will say is sometimes they don't want this, so follow the directions on the Cast and Call Club website because you can easily throw out your audition that way too. These are just some basic guidelines that I found worked pretty well for a lot of the projects I've been casted in. Sometimes too much editing is too much. Sometimes it's easy as just putting in some noise gates and clearing up your sound a little bit and sending that out into the world. Don't over edit. I've over edited too much where I'm cutting breaths and things just really didn't sound natural. People breathe, believe it or not, when they talk. You've probably heard about this presentation. If you cut those out, it sounds really weird. Believe me. Try it sometime. It's really fun, but don't submit that. It can be kind of rough. And again, organization's key. Keeping your computer desktop, let's see, okay, I don't know if I can tap it. Okay, keeping your computer desktop not looking like mine, but really organized with correct folders, naming your projects, making sure it's take 1, take 2, take 3, and not just 400 MP3 files on your desktop. Oh man, which one was it? Was it revision A, or was it revision B, or was it, oh my God, Aaron, you need to submit this tonight, version 1 or version 2? Oh, I don't remember, it's 3 in the morning. It's probably B. And then you end up submitting a take where you have a really funny outtake where you might have said some not for this panel words in it. So again, be careful. Personal experience, baby. All right. Oh, sorry, I skipped my slides. That was auditioning, and I just realized, my goodness, this is rough. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I was not expecting this many people, so it is kind of like freaking me out a little bit. So sorry. I'm usually pretty good with public speaking. I've taken 7 classes for that, so better be. Not that well. No, okay, all right. So now you've been casted. Now what? Well, it's about doing your role. Congratulations, you've made it. You are a part of the voice acting community. Woo! Okay, so important things. Being timely matters. Please submit your stuff on time. I know this sounds funny coming from a college student, but you don't know how many people I've talked to that have been ejected from projects because they forgot to tell their casting director that something came up. Life happens. I get it. It happens to me all the time. Unfortunately, I just had a family member that had some major health stuff happened, and I had to kind of be offline. But again, talking to your casting director beforehand does numbers because they were able to help me work around that issue. So being on time matters. Talking to your my point two, communication is key, is really important so that you're keeping them informed and that you're treating this as a professional thing, even if it is for fun. There's a level of professionalism. Again, using the 3-2-1 system for dubbing is something that is very interesting. You might not have heard of this, but this is something that Funimation developed in the late 90s to help start newer voice actors get familiar with dubbing. You will probably do some dubbing projects at some point in your VA career, and the 3-2-1 system is really helpful. What it is it's a 3-beep system. Yes, 3-beep system. Sorry, I had this no practice in my head. Where essentially, and if I am getting this wrong, I know there'll be somebody in the audience who will correct me, but it is essentially where you have the first couple seconds of your dubbing work, of the video file piece of your dub, where it goes beep, 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 and on the imaginary fourth beep, that's when you start talking. Now, why is this important for dubbing? Well, dubbing requires you to match flaps, or match lip flaps, or as we call it in the industry, matching sync. And if you're not matching sync, how many of you seen Godzilla from like the late 80s?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It comes out to be Godzilla, and that doesn't look or sound good at all, although I love those series. Oh, and Blake, sorry, I didn't mean to make fun of your series. Hi, by the way, that's my cousin, he's interested. He loves those little Godzilla films, sorry man. Alright, so yeah, again, the 3D system is really important to keep things concise with dubbing and make sure you're matching sync. Alright, and then of course recording and revisions. You need to make sure you're keeping track of those files, make sure you're uploading the right stuff to the internet, make sure you're not sending in your accidental blooper file as your audition. And making sure you're keeping track of it. And then making sure you're keeping track of the revisions too. So marking those and notating them, okay, June revision from this day, or A, B, or C, or some way of that organizes that works best for you when it comes to organization. And then the professional exit, which is something that's kind of weird, but when your project's over, just going away can be kind of an unfortunate opportunity for you. I mean, it works, they'll be fine with it, it's nothing bad, but a professional exit is a really important thing by saying, hey, thank you so much for having me on this project. If you have any other spots for me that you can think would be helpful, let me know. I'd be certainly happy to audition for something else. That is a great way to connect with the community, and it kind of puts a seed in the back of their mind like, hey, he was really good for this voice, and we have a character that's very similar. Let's call him up and see what he can do. That's not a photo of me when my voiceover booth, obviously. That's a professional photo of me. I was getting completely destroyed by my friend who decided to make an Uma Musume video and watch the actual horse racing. Thanks, Jason. You made it in the presentation. Okay, good. I am kind of ahead of time, so I'm sorry if I rushed through some stuff. Please tell me to go back. But wrapping this up because you have been listening to me for far too long. Let's go. All right. So, what do you do now? Now that you have kind of gone through your first project, kind of walked through your first project, what do you do now? Reading is key. Start picking up things around your house and start reading things. That's what I did. My roommate thinks I'm crazy at this point, and he is excited to move out. He's like, yes, finally, I don't have to be with him anymore. The police won't be called to our apartment. That has happened before. We're doing certain those lines. That's an interesting story. I don't want to get into it, but I know. Talk to any of the other MSU folk here who know me, they'll tell you the story. But yes, reading is key. Pick up that cereal box and read those ingredients in a medieval voice. That sounds funky. I literally will pick up stuff in my apartment like instruction manuals, and I sound like a crazy person talking about the Samsung TV operations manual in a voice that sounds something like this. Ooh,
That is hilarious.
It really is, because you can be sitting here and you can be, like talking about different things and just pulling up stuff like this presentation. What to do now? Reading is key. Try your hand in a cold read. Expand that voice. Range, accents, experience. So yeah, I mean, literally just start picking up things and reading it. Try your hand in a cold read. Try your hand and just give it a cold read a shot. Grab some piece of thing and come up with a voice in your head. That's a great way to get started. Expand that voice. Try different ranges. See how far you can go. Now, don't stress your voice out. That's the really important part, because you can permanently damage your vocal cords, and bam, there goes your career. That's a really dangerous thing for voiceover artists. You probably heard of them a lot of the panels you've been on. But play with your range. Don't stress yourself. But Try different things out. Try a few different things out. Oh boy, try a different few accents out there. I'm going to teach you a phrase that I like from a very well-known Minnesota storyteller named Kevin Kling. I really hope his family doesn't sue me. I know his wife, but I don't think that holds up in court. And it's, I ain't gonna pay no dollar for a corn muffin that's half dough. It's a great phrase. It really sums up this state. I know it has nothing to do with this panel, but try different accents out. I can't do any other accents than a Minnesota accent. I'm sorry. I'm working on it. Come back to you next year, see what accents I can do. And just try to gain as much experience as possible. Get yourself out there in the VA community. Start working on projects. Start saying, hey, I want to come and build a set. If there's one thing that I know onstage actors will want help with, is if you tell them, hey, I want to show up on Saturdays or on the weekends, and I want to help you build your set. They will grab you and you will never escape. But it's a really great experience out there. Sorry, Sydney. I know you probably mentioned this online. Good friend of mine who's in theater, but wanted me to mention it. So in the end, the big thing is not being prepared with your presenter notes. The next thing is hoping your iPhone doesn't explode trying to open the last part of your file. So sorry, everybody. Again, is not expecting my computer to not work today. But internet voice acting is about having fun, connecting with a great community, and learning to act and grow, both as a voice actor and as just an actor. And also just have fun and meet great people. I met some of the nerdiest people, some of my best friends through voice acting, where we do a lot of weird, nerdy things. And I remember when anime wasn't cool. It's so awesome that it is now. But man, these communities really helped me when I was going through a lot of hard times. That's fine. Thank you for staying. Thanks for coming. I'm surprised she did that alone. I filmed this last 2 minutes listening to my voice and I'm like, alright. Well, even if this is your first time, you don't need to be pro, just have fun. So what are you waiting for? Get out there and show the world your voice. I know you'll have an awesome voice. Thank you, everyone. Alright. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Thank you so much. I hope this was informative for you. This presentation was practiced at the very last minute, and I'm so sorry. Now I will take your questions that you've been holding in, so thank you. And it can be anything. You can even be making fun of my costume. That's great. Go right ahead, yeah.
I will mention with Casting Call Club, because that's the main one that I use. It really does depend on the project and the director, like how much information they give, like the formatting you gave, the A. Some people want the ABC, totally fine. There's
yes.
One of the things that I know more than anything that I always seem to have to ask in the bumper screen below is how many characters can we audition for? And they almost all are like, oh, I forgot that part.
Oh, yeah.
So always be aware that different creators are at different stages and have different responsibilities and like how they organize things too. So there's only so much we as actors can do, but know what your role is when you audition. Like ask them before you do something.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you so much. That brings me to a really good point that I missed in this, which means I really should have had you as an advisor on this presentation. I'll do that next year. Yes, sometimes, yes, exactly. Sometimes, there's a lot of different variables that come up in this casting call club. Descriptions, read them. If you start and you mess up a few of them, some of the time it's because you maybe didn't really fully read the description. Like you said, there's limits on how many characters you can be auditioned for in projects. You gotta just kind of be careful of that. Also, just be careful of location too. I recently auditioned for a Danganronpa online project. They needed voice actors near that. They were not going to do remote records. So if you're planning to do remote records, because we are in Minnesota, it's not super well known for voice acting yet. I hope maybe someday it will be. Maybe not, because projects are pretty close to the Dallas, and the New Yorks, and the LAs of the world. But again, something to just look at. So thank you. Yeah, that brings me great. Does anybody else have any questions? Yeah, go right ahead.
I know you said you're not good with accents, but could I get a, hey, I'm walking here in the accent that you know it should be?
Oh, okay. So wait, I'm sorry. So one more time. You want it in a, do you want it in a Boston accent?
Yeah.
All right. I'm not dramatic when I'm playing those, and you guys are not going to have your guns out where it's an accent. Hey, I'm walking here!
Yeah!
basically that's the skeleton of it. What's the walls?
Oh, yeah, so walls will be created, yeah, thank you. Wow, look, you guys are finding like plot holes in my presentation. It's great. This is all great feedback for me. Yes, that's a great point. Again, using moving blankets is a really cheap option. You could go really fancy and figure out a way to be able to provide, like put some sort of like harder wall up between them and attach basically sound dampening panels like you saw in the photo of me in an actual professional booth. That's an option. Again, it's kind of how much you want to spend on it too, because we're voice acting. We don't make a lot of money in this industry, unfortunately. We make some, as you get more professional. But if you're just starting out, that's a really good place to start. But that's a great question. Yeah. Does that answer your question? I'd be asking that. Sometimes I meander. Yeah. All right. Does anybody else have any questions for me? Oh yeah. We'll go with you in the back, and then we'll kind of scooch our way over.
So I've heard terms like finding your voice or knowing your range. What's a good way to like figure that out as someone who has a very little budget or no budget at all?
Oh, that's a great question. So I thought I kind of only had one voice too when I started. Literally I would narrate stuff for our universities and colleges and be like, welcome to the Minnesota State University Mankato Internet Series, where we talk to you about math life, or whatever. That is where I just started playing around with my voice by just kind of being a nuthead. I know that's not a good way for you to do that, so you kind of have to find it in your own way, but what I can suggest is start playing around with your voice, make little accents, do funny little voices. Your parents and your family will think you're crazy. I'm sorry, there's no way to get around that. My parents are just accepted at this point. They were like, we had one kid, he was enough, no more. Because again, I was going around doing funny voices, but yeah, I would imitate, I think my very first early example is how many of you folks, I have older parents, sorry parents, but how many of you know the Louis Anderson show from the late 90s? Okay, not a lot of people. Got a lot of young people in here. Oh boy. But yes, I imitated Louis' dad, so it was I'd walk around my house, sound like a crazy person, just saying things like, I'm falling! That's what I could just feel I was in a war! Those kind of things. That's how you get your start. You just kind of do silly things, so try some stuff out. It's very nerve-wracking in the first couple minutes, because my parents, when I first started doing Yumi Amikaze left and around, they're like, what is that? But with time, or if you do it in your own time too, in a bedroom when nobody's home, that also works too. Okay, hey, mine's out of the gutter. This is a 13 plus panel. But, yeah. Very important thing. That's a good one. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. If you have more questions, come find me afterwards. Because I don't have anything after this. I'm an anime fan, and I'm a voice actor. Alright, we got a question over there. I want to make sure I get time to get to all these.
My question is, have you ever dealt with being typecasted? And because of VA who I follow online has mentioned that sometimes they only get certain types of roles because that's what they don't do.
Yeah, that happened recently on a project. So I was auditioning and I was asking a question of somebody. This is closely related to a lot of the radio work that I do, and I kind of got typecasted as I'm Asian American, so I kind of got typecasted into that Asian American role. It wasn't anything overly terrible, and it wasn't really anything bad. The radio series was not associated with the university. I just want to make that clear for the video. It was a different series I was working on independently for an online project, but it was difficult for me, just as somebody who is that, of that race, but also to your question of I get typecasted as a lot of dark, very low, because I have that low voice character sometimes, and that can be hard. The difficulty that I have with it is just, it is a challenge, and I'm still trying to figure it out, so I'm sorry I don't have a really super great answer for you with that, but in the early days of voice acting, I feel in one of those ways, if you are getting a role, and it's nothing that you feel uncomfortable with, that's a great start, and it's a way to start building your resume. But again, don't work on projects that are making your life miserable. This is supposed to be something that's fun to some extent. And once you start doing it for work, you'll have to work on projects you don't really agree with, unfortunately, to make money. But if you really feel uncomfortable, you have the option as a voice actor to say no. And I empower voice actors to do that, because oftentimes, if a director comes to you and says, yeah, can you scream for 10 minutes and blow your mouth out and not be able to speak the next day, and you have to give presentation and stuff, that's not cool. That's not cool at all. And that director, in some cases, should know better, but sometimes they don't, because it is their first time directing a project. Sorry, that's a really long meandering answer. Does that kind of help answer your question? Okay, if not, come find me and I'll try to answer it better. Yes, go right. Okay, well, you can text me, man. But what's your question?
Well, actually, mine's more of a global one. I've noticed for some people, they've been taking some photos, taking a good amount of notes, and I know that you're recording this and you're releasing a VOD later.
Yeah.
Where will people be able to find this VOD?
Oh, look at him. He's doing a better job of this than I am. I didn't even include it in my presentation. Okay, so where you can find the VOD is not on the screen. I just want to bring this back up in case any of you folks want to take a picture of it. Hey, I never saw him again. But where you can find this is on the Sentinel Seiyu YouTube channel, youtube.com/Sentinel Seiyu. I'm going to actually exit the presentation for a second here. And I'm going to pull that up because I have the power of computers with me.
We'll see.
And, well, okay, yeah, we'll see. My technology has not been great. Oh boy, okay.
One more of my kind of an answer. I'm going to go for 2 more adversarials.
Yep.
How would you rank your own presentation?
Oh no, this is terrible. This is the worst one I've given in quite some time. I'm sending this
real
to.
voice actor.
Oh yeah, exactly. Never. All right, so there we go. Oh, we're gonna pause that autoplay video. I made that trailer too many years ago, so it'd be cringy. Oh, and it's not even on the screen. Oh man. Oh boy. Here we go. He's not.
It was there.
Do you see why I use the dumb people operating system? I cannot be trusted with computers.
Hey, YouTube Premium?
There we go. Yeah. I'm outing myself, but there you go. There it is, right there. If you want to take a picture of it. Oh God, my demo reels are really good. Check those out too and see how terrible of a voice actor I was like a year ago. These days a lot.
Those are ancient.
Oh yeah, you're ancient. I gotta update that, and I'm not yet happy with that. Okay, does anybody else have a question? Sorry. I just want to make sure I answer you. Oh, if you want to come talk to me, come up here and say hi. I'm gonna stop the recording here, but we can keep going for another couple minutes. There's next panel in here at 6, so I want to make sure I'm out for that. And if you guys can leave that door open too as you're heading out, sorry. It just helps me out. Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
Could I get a photo?
Have a good day, everyone. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see what your project will be working on. That's going to be exciting.